will AI finally do something really useful like cleaning the bathroom or doing the dishes? Wasn't that exactly what science fiction movies from the 1960s already promised us? More than 60 years on, we're still waiting for it, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. Welcome back to Code Red, Technology, Madness, and the Future of Humanity. My name is Ursula Eysin. I'm the founder and CEO of Red Swan, and I'm coming to you today from hot Vienna, Austria. Chris.
And I'm coming to you today from super hot Silicon Valley, California, where it's been over 100 degrees the last week, which is very abnormal. But usually we get a week of hot weather every year, and this happens to be the week.
Same in Vienna. Same in Vienna. We are at like 34 degrees Celsius, I think.
Yikes.
So it's really pretty hot in the city, but it won't last for too long.
That's good.
So I hope you take a swim in the ocean. I will do the same in the Danube. But for now, let's jump into our topic. Isn't it funny? We have all this hype about artificial intelligence. It's godlike and can do everything, but then it cannot do the most simple things like doing the laundry or doing the dishes or anything like that. So many people still like to spread the myth that it will first take the blue collar jobs, but that's not at all what's going on here. It's actually after the white collar jobs. So, what is going on here, Chris? How can we explain that?
Well, it's actually pretty simple, but it sounds obvious. But you're talking about two completely different worlds, right? You're talking about the
Mm,
virtual world versus the physical world. And we live
exactly.
in the physical world. And when you're talking about AI and physical world, you're talking about robots. And even though AI is amazingly advanced in the virtual world and can do amazing things when it comes to software and electronic things, it can't do things in the physical world because the physical world is very difficult for robots to handle. It's not a simple thing. It's easy. You could teach a 4-year-old to set the table or clean the
Yes,
table, but you can't teach a robot to set the table and clean the table. It would probably break everything on the table. So the physical world
exactly.
is still a little distant for robots. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not going to get there eventually, but it is definitely further away than the virtual world. The virtual world, it's commanding the virtual world, and that's why you were saying when you were mentioning about the differences between blue collar and white collar work. A lot of white collar work is in the virtual world. It's in the software realm. It's in things that can be created electronically or online or on the internet, and that's a place where AI can really shine because it doesn't
Hmm.
it commands the virtual world as opposed to the physical world, whereas we still command the physical world. But who knows for much longer?
Yeah, but at the time when we are speaking, plumbers, carpenters, hairdressers, plasterers, and janitors are much safer from AI taking over their jobs than we've been led to believe. Instead, AI is really coming for the programmers, for the data analysts, even for lawyers. More, maybe let's talk about that. I think we can really imagine. AI reading all these case documents or producing contracts, even, I think that's actually much easier than taking a spoon and steering your tea, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And not only that, in the patent space, it's very interesting because if you think about patents, basically patents are ideas that have been generated by human beings. So they take an idea and they come up with an idea and they try to protect that idea. So if you look at patents that are out there, there's millions, billions of ideas that have been encapsulated and they're on paper. And AI can actually come in there and read all of these and fill in the
Absolutely. Mm.
blanks. It's things that
Hmm.
humans can't do and come up with new solutions and new correlations that weren't there before. So it can actually do a better job on coming up with new innovations and new ideas than a human being would because it doesn't have the capability to look at whatever's already out there and come up with something new. And it's the same thing for all of these professions, whether you're looking at, say, drug discovery or legal things or some of the more simplistic things. And this is what's happening in the programmer space too. Sort of like the simpler things, the junior developers, the entry level programmers, the interns, those are the ones that are getting displaced by the AI because the AI is able to do that level of work. It might not be able to do the higher level conceptual work, but the entry level folks are the ones who are being pushed out by the AI. But yeah, it's definitely the white collar workers that have to concern
Mm.
themselves. And in fact, I wrote an article about this a long, long time ago about how we're going to see an interesting flip when it comes to salary and compensation. Is that the white collar workers are going to get paid less than the blue collar workers, because the blue collar work is actually going to be more valuable than the white collar work. So eventually, the
Isn't that
CEO is going to
interesting?
be paid peanuts, and the plumber is going to be paid a lot.
That's right. And it might even be the CEO who gets replaced by the AI before the janitor.
Definitely.
Because I talk to so many CEOs, and actually they tell me they are not even taking the shots or taking decisions at the companies they supposedly are leading.
Yeah.
So why not replacing them with AI, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, middle management is already being replaced with AI. So there's actually not much more to go to get upper management to be replaced by AI, because what are they actually doing? What are they doing that's out of the box, that's different? I mean, they're just basically keeping things running. And keeping things running is something AI can do really well.
So, what is the role of the human in there, then? Like how do you get from you have to start somewhere, right? If we say the entry jobs are now taken, how can a human being then gain experience to get to the higher up jobs? Or is
That's a
that
really
not
good
even
question. it,
how?
they have to continue to get themselves up to that higher level, and they can't do it
Hmm,
through working. They have to do it through volunteer work, or doing their own work, or sort of like start doing their own startup, or doing their own business or whatever, instead of actually trying to get an entry level role at an
hmm,
organization. Build your mid-level skills by running your own startup, or doing your own business, because no one else is going to give you that level of expertise, right? But
hmm.
the
Right,
problem
right.
with those kind of, in fact, all of these, if you looked in the longer term, all of these roles will disappear. They will be replaced by AI. There's nothing you can do about it. And in fact, a lot of younger people are actually looking at this and realizing this, and are actually going into trades. They're going into welding, they're going into plumbing, they're going into all these different trades. There's many, many, many very highly paid trades, especially welding, that people are going
Hmm,
into, because they know that by the time AI gets to the point where it'll be able to do welding, that's going to be a long, long time from now.
hmm,
So the trades are getting a new influx of people, because people, the ones who had gone into AI, and in fact, some of these people who were originally programmers are now going into the trades, because they realize that they can't get the work that they want at white collar work anymore. So they're moving into the trade. So we're going to see an influx of tradespeople. And if you think about it, I don't know what it's like where you are. Tradespeople are desperately in demand here. I mean, it takes months.
absolutely.
When I went,
Yes.
my fence blew
Mm,
down a few months
mm.
ago, it took about 4 or 5 months for us to get a contractor to come in
Oh
and
my God.
replace it, because they were so
Yeah.
busy. There's so
Mm,
much work. There's so much work in the
mm,
physical realm.
mm.
And it's funny, because we're in this weird cultural place where we think work in the physical realm is not as highly valued as work in the intellectual realm, right?
But
But
why?
there's much more demand for work in the physical realm. And the funny thing is that my dad used to say to me, computers are just a fad. You shouldn't be in the computer business. You should become a barber or a real estate agent, because people have to have their hair
See?
cut, and people have to live somewhere. I'm like,
Yes.
he was pretty right in some things,
Right.
because everybody does need a haircut,
That's right.
but not everybody needs a computer.
Yes, and sure, I don't know if you heard about that, but I heard about the U.S. military using hair cutting robots. But let's face it,
Yes.
most of us aren't quite ready to pull off the SEAL signature shaved head style yet. Okay, I'm not
Well,
ready for
have you
that.
seen the manicure machines yet?
No,
The manicure machines. So
sounds scary.
they're coming out. I think that a couple of Targets in the U.S. have them, and they're not full manicure machines. Basically, all they do is apply nail
The
polish.
Polish.
Yeah, they apply the
Okay.
polish. So you stick your fingers
Mm,
in, you stick your hand in, and it actually applies polish. And it can do all sorts of patterns and cool different things.
okay.
And I've never seen one, but I have read about them and I have seen them. And
You always have to try it out,
yeah,
right? I think always AI always sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
and then you try it out. Like the whole other discussion now with the creatives. So many creatives really are afraid that they can be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
And actually, we do a lot of creative AI in this sector. We produce videos, we produce highly cinematic pictures and videos now, and it's just fantastic.
Hmm.
You can produce cinematic videos in a quality that usually SMEs never could have afforded.
Yep.
So it's really a great playground. So I think actually creatives only got more tools. And if you jump right into it, it's not that easy. I also do trainings for people on that, and I see it's not that easy for everyone to create these pictures. I think I have a great advantage as I worked in opera and musical production and also in film, and I have a very visual mind. So I only need to describe the picture in my head. So in the beginning of my trainings, I tried to explain to people, just describe the picture in your head, and people said I don't have a picture in my head.
That's right. You have to start with a
And
picture if you don't have that picture. But it's
exactly.
interesting.
So
It's
yeah,
interesting you
so I
should
said,
mention
okay,
that.
you can borrow mine, you can borrow my pictures. So I give you my prompts, and this is
Yeah.
what you can do. But it's very interesting. I do not think, and then when people say, oh, we now fire all our creators because AI can do it, that's a clear sign that they have never tried it,
That's
because
right.
it's not that easy. You need hundreds of pictures to have like four really good ones. Then you put it in the next AI to animate it. Then you make the sound, then you make the music, then you put it all together, you cut
Yeah.
it, you edit it. It still takes a day to make like a half a minute
Oh
video.
yeah, 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 absolutely. Now, interestingly enough, I had this conversation with my writing group last night. We were talking about AI and where AI was going, and I was saying that the interesting thing about AI is that it can create visual and audio things really easily,
Mm,
and but writing is different because it's actually
yes,
sparking the imagination in the reader, right? So that's one of
that's
the reasons why
correct.
AI
Yes,
can probably not do writing as well as it can do, say, videos or imagery or audio.
totally,
But
totally.
like you said, you need that creative spark. And
Mm,
if you don't have a creative spark, if you don't have that picture in your head to start it off, then you're not going to get very good output at all. So that's where we need to
totally.
go. We need to
Yes.
go to this place where we think of AI as a tool, and we think
Mm,
of how are we going to prompt this tool to be able to do what we want. And the way I like to describe it is that it's kind of like a misbehaving intern, right? It's like, they do some work, but some work they do okay. Some work you got to ask them to redo. This needs to be fixed, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of a help, but not enough of a
not
help, really.
always, not always. I like to say it's like a creative toddler. You wouldn't replace your creatives with your creative toddler either. It
Right.
can be, sometimes they throw out something genius,
Yeah.
but it's not on command. It's not always, and
Not
they
all the time.
usually cannot reproduce the same thing. And of course, they can be moody, and they just don't want to do what you want them to do.
Yep.
So I think of the whole technology as being in its infancy, and now we have the great opportunity to help it to grow up. And it
Yep.
learns from our patterns exactly like a toddler. And I think it can be a very fun play, a fun co-creation, because I also love AI's creativity. I must say I do not only see it as a tool, because it kind of has a creativity of its own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know why that is? Actually, this new concept that I just introduced the other day was H2M. So you're familiar with H2O, right? Hydrogen,
Explain it.
two hydrogen atoms and one
Yeah.
oxygen atom is water, right?
Yes.
So my concept is H2M is that what we're doing when we're using generative AI is that there's actually two humans in the mix and a machine. And the two humans are you, who's creating the prompt, and all of the humans in the large language model. So when you look at the output of generative AI, it's actually two sets of humans. So it's the regular human, you, and the
Mm,
manipulated human, which is putting something out. So that's why it can sometimes come up with something incredibly creative because it's leveraging all these other humans that are in there. So that's why it just seems like it's more human because it's using other human created content. And
Hmm.
and the thing is, so it seems better. It's not going to get us to artificial general intelligence. I think that's like a dead end. We're getting teased that it really
Yeah.
knows like it's going to be human, but in the end, there's probably nothing there, and there's probably some other breakthrough that we're going to need
And
to do.
maybe that's not even the goal. For me, that's always kind of, why would that be the goal? Why can't it be something different?
Yeah. No,
Why do you have
I
to replace humans? Why do you have to make artificial humans? It's it can be something totally new.
oh yeah, I think should go beyond humans. In fact, I mean, all these
Mm,
people who are trying to make AI act like humans, I think that's the wrong way to do it. I think we need to make it
right,
act better than humans because otherwise we could just hire a human to do the work, right?
right.
But
And
I'd love to go into the questions of the real world, though, like who's going to empty our dishwasher? Because that's my thing. I don't know what your thing is, but emptying and filling the dishwasher is the thing
you
that
like it?
really annoys me.
I don't know.
And I'm like, how come we can't get AI to empty the dishwasher, right?
How could
And
we do that? Yes,
well,
soon.
there's two ways, right? I mean, the two ways are we either have to redesign our kitchen so
Mm,
that it works in a completely different way. So, for example, instead of having a dishwasher at the bottom underneath your countertop, it's actually built right into your cupboard, right? So you put the dishes in the cupboard and the dishes wash, like the AI inside the cupboard washes the dishes, dries the dishes, and then the next time you open the cupboard, they're there, clean, right? So we have to redo our physical surroundings to allow AI to do the work for us. The other option is to build robots that are like humans and
mm,
act like we do. Now, which one
mm,
is more difficult, right? They're both just as difficult because all of our environments are completely designed around us, right? They're all
right.
designed around us. Our kitchens are designed around humans. Our laundry rooms are all designed around humans. They're all designed around a human being doing the work.
Mm.
So, do we create a robot which is like a human being doing the work? Do we have Optimus robots in everybody's house? Or do we build completely brand new homes from the ground up that allow AI to do the work for us? So,
That's
both of those
actually a
things are
very
really
good
hard.
point. Yes, and that's really hard. And the whole discussion is really hard because AI in construction is a really difficult topic, I think.
Yeah.
Because the question is, will these be dream houses or nightmare blocks? And it always remembers me of there are these people who really stubbornly believe AI will soon be remodeling houses. And
Hmm.
I always think, okay, you clearly have never swung a hammer because you clearly never remodeled your house or built a house or anything because you know there are so many uncertainties when it comes to construction. It cannot be standardized like that unless we we are aiming to recreate the charm of East Germany's Plattenbauten. And I would say those architectural wonders that could win awards for the most soul crushing designs ever conceived.
Mm.
I think this is not really the goal for me. I have a really a need for beautiful architecture. That's why I love to live in Vienna, Austria. We really have great architecture. But of course, it's even the remodeling or the maintenance is cannot be standardized. You cannot do that with AI because, as you said, you would have to rebuild it for AI, and it probably would have to be very standardized. And then we are aiming for Plattenbauten.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, have you seen? I don't know if I told you about this in a previous show, but have you seen those AI, not AI, but 3D generated homes that they're building in Austin, Texas? I don't know if you've
I've not
seen
seen
these at all,
those. No.
but there's a home builder in the north west corner of Austin that are building. They're using 3D printers to build a
Mm,
home, and the home is being built with extruded concrete. So it's like this giant. So it's like a giant 3D printer. They move it over the lot, and then they have this thing sort of draw the walls. So the walls are
mm.
drawn in concrete, and it takes a while. I mean, it probably takes longer than a bunch of
Yeah,
human
like
workers putting it
usual,
together.
the 3D print like
Yeah, it's like
zzz, zzz.
right. And then, I mean, I haven't seen them in person, but I've seen pictures of them. And you're right, they feel soulless because it's just
Soulless, exactly.
concrete walls. They're concrete walls.
Yeah.
And not only that, the designer, for some reason, decided to make the wall leave the lines in the wall.
Oh.
So unlike our smooth walls, or I mean, we don't have smooth walls here in California. We have textured walls, but
Hmm.
they have lines. So they've left the line. So the walls are all lines all the way across. So you can't really do anything with them. I mean, I guess you could paint them, but they're solid concrete walls, which might be fine in a climate like Austin, Texas, where it does get hot in the summertime. So
Hmm.
concrete in that way might actually work for that particular climate. But when you look at the 3D view and you walk through it, I'm like, oh my God, this is, I feel like I'm in a bunker.
Exactly. And who wouldn't want their dream home to resemble a concrete block that can make
Exactly.
even the most optimistic soul weep? Really. And yeah. And I went to school in Germany, and they had a lot of these Plattenbauten and the Palace of the Republic, etc. It's just soul crushing. This really, really, that's a pursuit of ugliness.
Yeah.
It crushes the human spirit. And as you mentioned, the concrete in a hot weather like Texas, it might work, but in a climate like in Vienna, Austria, where we have cold winters and a lot of rain, it's
Mm.
terrible. The concrete will get kind of wet,
Yeah.
and it will be terrible climate for human beings in such bunkers.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, I applaud them that they're doing this. It's really interesting that they're doing this, but it's still not creating, I don't think it's creating places for human beings, fit for human beings to live in.
yes, yeah,
But
we
it
shouldn't
might
live in
at
that.
some point. It's just we're just not there yet. And the other
No,
example I wanted to talk about was there are certain household things that could conceivably be taken over by AI.
like
Like, for
what?
example, this was a number of years ago, but I used to live in an apartment and it had a shower stall. And some company came out with some type of cleaning fluid that would
Hmm,
automatically shoot against the wall. So, what would happen is
okay,
that you'd walk in, you'd have your shower, and then when you leave, it would
would
detect
be.
that you had left. And what it would do is it
Mhm.
would spray some kind of cleaning solution all around the walls. And if that thing was made effective enough, then it's entirely possible that it could clean your shower
But it
without you
shouldn't
having
be
to clean your
toxic.
shower.
It sounds also a bit difficult, to be honest. It sounds like you have insects and you spray some poison on them. I think the idea still needs some work.
Oh yeah, it's obviously. I mean, it's disappeared since. I haven't seen anything like it, but it's nice. It's interesting to see that there are companies trying this stuff out, right?
Mm,
To try and reduce the
mm.
burdens, because this is the
I've
whole
seen
thing.
something. Yeah, we have something like similar in Vienna today, and it is public restrooms, and they really made it like it's all made of steel, and I think you can clean them really very easily with some water pipe and go in there,
Yeah.
and it was so funny because we as Austrians went there. It was at a sightseeing site in Vienna, and we had guests from the US, from the
Hmm.
Silicon Valley here. And one of them went in there and she said, like, oh, isn't that just great what they did there? It's so practical. And we came out there and said, isn't that just terrible? It's like in a slaughterhouse.
We actually have those in San Francisco. We have those in
Okay,
San
you
Francisco, and
have
there's
them too.
self cleaning toilets. Right,
Mm,
you go in and you leave, and then supposedly it's supposed to rinse itself out. Right, so
yes.
it's a self cleaning
Yeah.
bathroom.
But
So,
it looks, for us, it looked like in a
oh,
slaughterhouse.
it's awful.
It's really
It's
awful.
absolutely awful.
And we were like, I never go in there again. And they were like, isn't that just so smart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Different
think that
perception.
what we're trying to say here is that the solution will probably be that we have to continue building for humans. Right, everything's got to
For
be built for
humans, yes.
humans, and then we have to
Yeah.
figure out how to fit the robots into our life.
Yes.
And
And maybe it doesn't have to be robots. Maybe we leave this actually. for some human work. Just let's go back to, for example, to the plumbers. You
Hmm.
would think, why isn't it easy? Wouldn't it be a brilliant idea to have a robot plumber?
Hmm.
But it's not possible, because for plumbing you need a lot of practical know-how and tactile skills. And
Exactly.
AI robots are not good in tactile skills. That is just a fact. And there are way too many uncertainties lurking down in the abyss that AI isn't quite ready to handle. And
Yeah.
human beings can handle that. So you can say, well, wouldn't that be a great task for AI?
Hmm.
Taking over these chores, but it really seems not to be possible anytime soon.
Well, what'll end up happening is that it'll be augmented AI. So it'll be humans
Mm.
augmented with AI. So
Oh,
here I
yeah.
am, a homeowner. I don't know anything about plumbing. I've got a leak. I might actually hold my smartphone up to the leak and have it analyze the leak for
Oh,
me
yeah.
and
Things like
tell me
these
what to
are
do.
developed. Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it won't.
Things like these are developed.
Yeah,
That
and
that's
I don't
totally makes
see
sense. Yes.
like some robot going in there and actually fixing my
No.
plumbing. Maybe.
No, no, no. No, we talked about that as well, right? The robot always looks good in the lab,
That's
but
right.
send them out. They're very sensitive, actually.
Oh
And
yeah.
well, AI has so many other functions, like I mentioned, the whole creativity now. I think it's really amazing if you have a picture in your head and AI can help you to create something totally new from your creativity together with their creativity. And then you have really fantastic outcomes. I think it's all still in its infancy,
Hmm.
and particularly for manual labor,
Yeah.
it's totally
But
in its
I
infancy.
don't say that. I think we should still really try hard to figure out how to bring AI into the physical world. Because
Mm,
if you think about human beings' burdens, I mean, technology, as far as I'm concerned, was designed to lift our burdens, right?
mm.
So it may be lifting our burdens in the virtual world, but it's not lifting any of our burdens in the
In the
physical
real
world.
world, yes.
So we need to start using AI to lift those burdens as well. And I'm glad to see that there are people who are going into those spaces and trying to figure out creative ways of lifting those burdens as well. Because I think most of us would love to have more free time to be able to create. So even though the
Mm,
AI is taking away some of our creative work, we still have to spend a lot of time doing all this physical work, which a lot of us want to get away from. So how do we get away from the physical work? We need to figure out some way of bringing AI into the physical world and having it help us. And even if it's small things, right? I mean, even if it's maybe it won't empty the dishwasher, but it might clean your shower, or it won't help you do the laundry, but maybe it'll help your laundry get cleaner or something like that. Or like we were talking about with those fridges that reorder milk, or the washing machines that reorder Tide or whatever, right? uh, those things have to just get smarter
mm.
and sit in the background and actually be proactively helping us, as opposed to us having to do this like, oh god. Because if you think about it, most of your day is filled with these little stupid tasks that you have to do. And wouldn't it be great if AI could just do some of those stupid tasks for us instead of you know forcing us to do them? So that's my hope, is that we get there somewhere at some point soon.
Yes, but isn't it ironic that we are so far from that? And it really, this was the original promise with AIs. It's always like AI will take over our chores, so the human has the freedom to create more and be more empathetic. But it's actually not happening this
Yeah.
way.
The problem is that it's so simple to do things online, right? The virtual
Mm,
world, it's easy to do things in the virtual world. It's hard to do things in the physical world. And until we get AI or robots to help us in the physical world, then it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be easier for them to do that. So the intended end state will have to be some kind of cyborg, right? Some hybrid human AI thing where I provide the physical labor side of things, and the AI
mm.
tells me what to do. So I may not need to know how to do plumbing, but instead of hiring a
Like,
plumber, it can
it
guide
would
me
tell
through the
me.
whole plumbing process, or guide me through this process, or guide me through that process. And I think that's where we might see some dip in blue collar work, because if AI can teach somebody to do the blue collar work on the fly just in time, then maybe more people will actually end up doing their own thing anyway. So if, let's say, I wanted to grow tomatoes, I don't know anything about growing tomatoes. Do I need to hire a gardener to grow tomatoes? No, I could probably learn how to grow tomatoes, right?
Hmm.
So the AI could
We
help me.
are, I think YouTube already did a lot for that. You
Oh
can
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah,
learn
yeah,
almost
definitely.
everything on YouTube, and
Yeah.
also the crafts. You can learn a lot of trades
Oh,
actually on
there's so
YouTube.
many things
Yes.
that can be learned on YouTube, and the thing that AI does is that it takes your specific thing and it
Hmm.
customizes to your specific thing. So I might learn how to grow tomatoes online, and I might be able to diagnose, well, if there's this bug on my tomato or something like that based on YouTube. But if the AI was totally familiar with the water levels, with this about the thing, it might actually proactively be able to say, "Oh, you need to water. Oh, you need to add this fertilizer. Oh, you need to do this." In that custom situation that I happen to be in. Oh, it's 105 degrees today. You should do this, right? So the AI will be sort of like this trusted electronic gardener who will be telling me what to do, because I'm the one who has to do the physical watering. Like, I can't get the AI to water my
To do
tomatoes.
it.
Although that is possible too. We have an AI watering our garden right now.
Yeah, sure. You can program to it. I think that's a quite specific task. The AI can do that. It
Oh
can
yeah.
vacuum clean, and it can mow your lawn,
Yeah.
and it can water it. This is possible. Yeah, but it's so funny that it will not fold your laundry. That seems to be very, very complicated. But it might outsmart your office job.
There actually
So
is a robotic laundry folding device out there that I have seen videos
yes,
of.
but it's still not mass
The person
available,
still
and
has to like take the shirt and or the
yeah.
pants or whatever and put them on. So it's not quite there yet.
So this doesn't not quite there yet. So I think we can summarize that really this technology is in its infancy on all levels, and we really, as human beings, um, I think if you are a programmer, data analyst, or any kind of knowledge worker, maybe start brushing up on your human skills instead of
Mm,
acting like a robot yourself. That
hmm.
will make you really irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Then going into the trades is actually a good thing now. I think for many years it was the other way around. People were told everyone should be a programmer, and now we see that was actually stupid advice,
Yeah.
because now programmers are going out of business, and if you are a handyman, you can actually make good money. So if you like to do that, and I think everyone kind of likes to do also physical things.
Well,
We are human beings. We
everyone
all
has some physical thing that they
things I
enjoy
like to
doing.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So why for example, we take AI art, print it out on canvas, and then paint it with pink color or spray it or something. We
Yeah.
we we bring it back to the physical realm, and people love it.
Hmm.
You cannot imagine how many people are sparked by this little thing. Their creativity, you can see their eyes lighting up. So every human is actually creative. AI does not have to take this over. We can really co create with it. And
Yeah.
maybe we as humans bring it back to the physical and to the real world.
Yeah.
But I think the big irony is really that robots are not replacing our handy neighbors. It's about them replacing the people who thought they were irreplaceable. And the CEO might actually be fired before the janitor.
Oh, absolutely. Because who's going to clean?
Exactly. So let's wrap this up. What are your final thoughts on this episode, Chris?
Well, I think you're absolutely right that the physical world is where things need to be going, but it is uh, a merging of hybrid of AI and the physical world. So AI is definitely going to be in the physical world. Robots will be around us, and they'll be assisting us in these things. And I think we should continue to be looking down that path. But for sort of the near term, we're definitely going to see a lot more things happening in the virtual space than in the physical space, but we should definitely continue to look at how can we build things using AI that can help us with our physical burdens as well.
That's right. And if anyone wants to future proof their own job or business, I'd be very happy to guide you through your individual, very personal future scenario process. If you're interested, just send me an email to office@redswan.at and we talk about the options. Thank you for watching Code Red, Technology Madness and the Future of Humanity. I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you a good day or a good night, and in any case, a good life. See you next time.